Okay, we're at step 5 of the installation guide on turf installation. This is actually the fun part of the job. I mean, the whole job's been great, but it's always nice to put the grass on the ground. What we're doing here today is installing the lawn in starting on our farthest border, and we're going to work our way out of the project. Salvador has just cut around a sprinkler. It's not a real big issue for cutting around the sprinkler. Any knife will work. You can use a linoleum knife, or you can use a little sharp steak knife out of your drawer, a cheap one, a throwaway one. You don't want to use an expensive one, but these little serrated steak knives, any knife will work, you know. So I recommend just a throwaway steak knife that's in your drawer that you don't like anymore, and when you're done with it, throw it away. But the part of laying sod is to stagger the joint on every other roll. He's going to start here now with a half a roll on his next run. And the reason for the staggering effect, if you didn't do it, it wouldn't be a real problem with your lawn, but you don't want all the little holes matching up in the corners. If you laid every piece exactly, you know, the same length and everything, you'd have 4 joints meeting in one spot, and then you'd just have a spot for potentially something to grow up through that area. So, you know, don't get too carried away. Don't measure it to an even half roll. When you get down here at the end, if you got a piece like Salvador's going to have left over right here that he's cutting off, you can just take that piece and use it for your next starter, just to give it a staggering effect. And the lawn really doesn't have a nap to it like carpet. So I don't care which direction you lay it. If you want to lay every roll the way it came off the harvester, where you see it's all lay in one direction, that's fine. You can do that. But if you don't do that and you see that the rolls are showing a nap effect, don't worry about it. If it's easier for you to install your sod, that'll all grow out of it. After the first mowing, you won't be able to tell which direction the sod was laid. So just make your job the easiest for you. There's not a lot of other tips on sod installation, except for what's really important is to keep a nice tight edge. Make sure when you lay the side joints that you keep it tight, and when you lay the end joint, keep it tight. And one thing I don't recommend is don't grab the roll out on the end of the roll and just tug it into place, because as you're tugging the roll into place, you could stretch it, and it's like elastic. If it does stretch an inch or so, then later when you walk away, it could shrink up. So if you need to move your roll, try to grab it in the end and out on the other end and pull it over there. Try to place them where they need to be as close as possible, but if you need to move it, slide the whole roll so you don't get a stretching effect, so the roll will stay in place. So good tight joints on the side, good end joints, and lay your sod. Now we're going to go ahead and let Salvador and Luis finish laying this, and then we're going to show you how to roll the sod when we're done and get ready to start watering the sod.